I disagree with both of you on one point. I don't think John Hamm's in this at all. I liked his episode a lot, where he recalls how his brother committed suicide and he's teary. But come on, it's not a wow. So I really don't put him in this race. Kyle Chandler, I think, he has the most impact in terms of the shouting scene. If you measure impact in terms of loudness and bombacity, he does that when he's yelling at his football team, and he does quite a good job. I haven't seen the Lost finale. I don't know about the Matthew Fox thing, but you guys have both said in your commentary that the problem there is that while he has great impact in the scenes he's on TV, he may suffer from the problem of being in a 2-hour episode, right? Because he's not in it as much as Hugh Laurie is in House.
Yeah, that's right. I must say, if I just quickly talk about Matthew Fox, he's got a 2-hour episode as well, but he's really only in it towards the end, and he has a few scenes interspersed. Like the first hour of it, he doesn't feature as heavily as he should as a lead actor, and so as a voter, if you're watching the episode, you're not watching the scenes edited down. You have to sit through all this stuff that you may not necessarily care about. You finally get to Matthew Fox if you're patient. If you do get through and you watch Matthew Fox, let's be clear, he is absolutely stunning. He is devastating. In fact, the emotion that I got from his performance far surpasses all the other guys in this category, because it's the final episode. He gets to die. I'm sorry if it's a spoiler, but if no one's seen Lost by now, then really, where have you been in a cave? He gets to die, and it's the most beautifully directed dying scene that I've seen in a long time. And if it was up to me personally, I would be giving the Emmy to him. I think it's absolutely stunning. However, as a voter who doesn't particularly care about Lost, you've got to sit through an hour and a half stuff. You finally get to, the gold. You might be asleep by then. I don't know. So that's the problem that he has. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I love the fact that he's nominated. I felt like some seasons maybe he deserved it. He certainly deserved it for season 6, the final season. Love the fact that he's in here, but it's such an ensemble episode for the most part, and it should have been. I mean, that's what you wanted as a fan of Lost. I don't think he can overcome that. The length of the episode actually is a detriment to him, unlike Hugh Laurie, who's in every moment of his episode. Going back to John Hamm, I've got him in 4th place, Tom. I think you said you had him further down. The only reason I feel like he's got a shot, and really this goes for Kyle Chandler and Matthew Fox as well, is they've never won an Emmy before. We all know there's other factors beyond just the episode being watched, and especially for John Hamm carrying the lead of a show that's won drama series 2 years in a row, there certainly could be some goodwill for him beyond just the episode he submitted. Plus, voters may have seen him do some comedy on 30 Rock or Saturday Night Live and just see that he's got a nice wide range.
You're not selling it, Chris. I don't buy it. Now, really, shame on us. Go ahead.
I just want to quickly interject. I disagree as well, Tom. I think John Hamm is also fantastic in his episode. It's all on his face. I know it's understated and voters want to see the fireworks, but when he starts to dish about his past life and, his secrets, I thought that was absolutely devastating. You could just see the pain as he starts to morph back into his old character of Dick Whitman. I just thought it was stunning.
I was thinking the nerve of this arrogant jerk to be boo-hoo-hooing about his family while he was leaving that poor girl in the car across the street. I kept thinking, you are such a heel that this whole woman you brought to the front door of your marital house have left anyway. I just threw that in for comic relief. I was ripped.
We
haven't even mentioned Bryan Cranston.
Let's get to Bryan Cranston. All right, let me set this up. Bryan Cranston portrays a man dying of cancer who has nothing left to live for except desperate for money. He turns to being a guy who creates crystal meth, the most horrible thing that then gets sold to kids. This is grandstanding, on the edge acting at its finest. The fact that AMC lets this even be on the air and has backed this shows you how creatively courageous they are, and they get these payoffs at the Emmys for being nominated for drama series, richly deserved. Of course, it just tied Lost for best drama series at the TCA Awards. That certainly, I've been trashing the TV critics earlier in our videos here, but they certainly deserve high marks there. He's won twice in the past 2 years, but somebody explain, why is he in 3rd position on your list this year?
Bryan Cranston, I think I'm scared almost to put him in third place because he's certainly the same character that's won the past 2 years. The performance in this finale of season 3, I thought, was just a little more quiet than what he submitted before. He's off screen for more than I pictured him being. There's other storylines going on here that are important to the series, and that surprised me a little bit. Now, his final scene, it was very good. I like the way that he figured out a way out of the situation that he was in. And you certainly want to know what happens next. But I just think it's going to be one of those years where, as much as I love Bryan Cranston, I would hate to see one of these other 5 guys who's never won an Emmy before be turned away just so Bryan can have a third.
Yeah, I think you're right. Isn't it telling that we have been talking about this for, 10, 15 minutes, and we had even forgotten that he was here. And we're talking about Bryan Cranston, okay? He's won 2 Emmys before, and we weren't even going there. And I am the biggest Breaking Bad fan here, by the way, and I didn't even remember he was here. And that's because his episode, wonderful as it is, it's just not quite as good as some of the other blokes. And compared to some of his other submissions, and even compared to some of the other episodes of season 3 of Breaking Bad, it's just, I don't think, going to be enough. And if he wins again, then there will probably be a few audible groans in the audience, because as much as we love him and the show, and he deserves 10 Emmys, I think in this category, let's give it to someone who hasn't won before, given that they've all done so well in submitting their best episode. This is a tough one, mate. I don't know what's going to happen, and I can't wait. I'll be chewing my fingers.
So at this point, I'm officially without a prediction, but I may let you talk me into Michael C. Hall. I don't know.
Well, 2 years ago, you made your Bryan Cranston prediction.
That's right.
Was it on that Friday or Saturday of that weekend?
Right. And
so we're all interested at the end of this week to find out what you got to say.
Dying to know.
Nobody's more anxious than I am.